All right, we now have Coach ready for an opening statement.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank just a great Clemson crowd for coming to Charlotte to support our ball club tonight. Felt like a home game, a true home game for us, just with the amount of purple and orange in the stands. So I really want to thank the fans for coming and supporting our ball club. I know it's been a very, very tough season, and to have Clemson fans come out and support the guys like they did tonight means a lot and says a lot about the Clemson fan base. So greatly appreciate that. Really proud of my club, the way we finished the season. Certainly was not the season that we expected to have. Certainly no, it's not the expectations of the program. Very disappointing season, but finished the season on a good note and played a great baseball game tonight. Swung the bats very well. Had a lot of big moments by some seniors, and pitched very well. Davis Sharp struggled a little bit early. Gave up a couple homers, but he settled in and threw the ball very, very well. And then Nick Hoffman was good, and it was good to get Towell and Chuck, a true freshman, who we think is going to be a huge part of our pitching staff in the future in the ball game. So pitched really well, swung the bats well. Really proud of my seniors for being able to go out on a high note. The guys had a lot of energy, had a lot of fun tonight, and it was great to see. It was certainly tough to shake hands and hug all those guys after the game. Some of those guys I won't get a chance to share a dugout with again, and they're a very special group to me. And now it's time to reflect on this season and get ready for next season, and get on the road and start recruiting. We need to go out and have a great recruiting season, and try to reflect and get better.
Hey, Coach. Alex Dodd from the Clemson Insider. How important was it to close out the season on a winning note, and how much of a help was it to have a full Clemson crowd to support your seniors and send you guys off like this?
Well, it was great to finish on a high note, to finish on a win, and to play as well as we did. It was great to play a good baseball game and win the game. And again, it was what a great crowd. Just really, really grateful. And I think our players will say the same thing. They're very, very grateful that the Clemson fan base came out to support us tonight. It was a great crowd, and we can't thank them enough.
Coach Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. A couple of your upperclassmen, T.O. and Hackenberg, had an unbelievable tournament. Each had 2 home runs, and I think each went 5 for 8 with combined 13 RBIs. How nice was it just to see those guys go out the way they did?
Yeah, it was great to see that. Again, Hack had one of the best at bats I think I've ever seen. I think it was a 14 pitch at bat, 3-2 count, kept fighting pitches off, just was not going to give in, and hit a ball out of the ballpark. Just what an amazing at bat. And then T.O., hit I think it was 2 triples and an inside the park home run. So that was pretty amazing. And 2 of those were with 2 strikes. So and he swung the bat well against Louisville as well. So it's great to see Bryce finish out the season on a high note.
Bonnie, this is Matt. This is obviously a different type of season and ending for you guys. Just what does the next couple of weeks look like for you? What are kind of your first things that you're going to do now that the season's over?
Well, I have 30 exit meetings starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I've got a full day tomorrow. We'll get back late. We're leaving tonight. We're just going to go ahead and go back tonight. I begin exit meetings with every player, and they're very, very in-depth. We talk about everything in the program from development to, the good and the bad. I try to be upfront and honest with every player and want them to be upfront and honest with me to try to help me become a better head coach. So we talk about, all of the things that they need to work on and improve upon. And then I ask them for feedback on things that I can work on and improve upon. So I have tomorrow's a full day for me. With exit meetings, and then got a half day of them on Friday. So that's the next 2 days for me, is just, again, meeting with every player who was here on this trip, and just trying to give them some insight as to things they need to improve upon, but also get their insight as well, so that we're on the same page moving forward. Over the weekend, who knows? I mean, it'll be probably a long weekend for me, just, with no baseball. And then, I'm sure that, at that point, I'll begin to think about all the things that we need to work on and improve upon. Sure, I'll circle up with the administration and talk to the administration at some point sooner than later. I don't know exactly when that will be, but that's it. And then we'll turn our focus to recruiting. We need to have a great season in recruiting, and and then we've got the draft coming up in July, so it's a little bit of an odd situation this year. For us, obviously, with the season ending as early as it has for us, we've got a long time between now and when the draft hits to determine who we could potentially lose off of this year's team and with incoming signees.
Hey, Monte.
And
David.
what does it say about the makeup of this team and your club that even with an early deficit, when a lot of teams would have laid down, they didn't, and continue to fight and push for extra bases and come back from behind tonight?
Yeah, it was great to see that. Our guys just competed their rear ends off tonight. It was just a collective effort of guys that just wanted to win. And, it was a selfless game. It wasn't about any individual. It was about, let's go out and compete and win the game. And our guys did a great job of that. We got down early. We kept fighting. And, hopefully that's something that we can carry with us going into the fall and going into next year. Was the way that we finished, the regulars or finished the season this year on a high note.
Coach, how much does it help to have a guy like Caden Grice to build your team around for next season, knowing that he'll be back for sure?
Well, he's one of the best hitters in the country, and we're going to have to get more out of him on the mound as well. We believe he'll be a weekend starter for us next year. We need to develop him into a weekend starter, but he'll play first base and pitch for us next year, and he's going to be a monster. I mean, he already is. He's one of the best hitters in the country, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow and develop in all phases of the game.
Coach Aaron Fitt here. When you look back on kind of the season as a whole, I know you probably haven't had time to reflect too much yet, but obviously this team, had some really good moments and some moments where it felt like, boy, they're, here they come, they got this thing rolling. And it seemed like every time that happened, you take that step back. What do you kind of attribute that to looking back on? Is there something you can put your finger on?
That's a great question. And, for me, I haven't had a lot of time to reflect on it, but I certainly think about it after every one of those games, Aaron. I think it's just about playing complete baseball. I think we've had some teams here in the past that would play complete baseball for 9 innings. And if we had a lead, we got better as the game went on defense and on the mound. We'd find a way to score late and hold the lead. Some of the better teams that I've had, that was one of the signatures of those teams, is we finished the game stronger than we started. And for some reason, we had a lot of games this year where we had a lead with 9 outs, 6 outs to go, and we couldn't find a way to keep the lead. So, part of it, I think, is just the pressure of having failed in that situation several times before. The pressure that the players put on them. Part of it is maybe going over those things a little bit too much on my part as a coach. But I can't necessarily put my finger on it right at this moment, but I do know we were in a position to win a lot of games this year that we didn't, where we lost by 1 run or 2 runs late, or something happened late. But we just got to do a better job of being able to get runners in on offense throughout the game. And, instead of scoring 5 runs, score that 6th run or that 7th run that could have been a difference in winning a game, or making a play or making a pitch late in the game when we had a lead. I think that's really what this season boiled down to, is we weren't quite as good as we needed to be in high leverage situations. And, I've got to just do a better job of managing the club and also instilling that toughness that we take a lot of pride in. And, I think this group competed. I think this team got punched in the face a lot. And, it takes a toll on a group of young men who want it so bad. These guys didn't give up. They didn't quit competing. It wasn't an energy thing. It wasn't a work ethic thing. I think it was really hard on these guys to lose the games in the way that we lost them. We lost several times on walk-offs. I mean, those are brutal, to a group of young men, and, they're all humans. So I think I've just got to find a way to keep their spirits up, to stay positive and not let it affect me as well as their head coach. We certainly were a team of momentum, good and bad this year. And, we just got to find a way to be more consistent.
Hey, Coach, it's David here. Kind of piggybacking off of that, it'd be a two-part question, I guess. Do you feel like this team, being either the youngest or one of the youngest in the country, that you're close, that you're close to a breakthrough? And then when a team like Clemson misses the postseason, obviously fans, message boards, everybody's active and everybody has an opinion. Do you, fully expect, hey, I'm going to be back next year? And if so, what is your message to the fans about how close you think you are?
Well, I think our club is close. I think if you look at the pieces that we have, and we'll know a little bit more certainly here in about 4 weeks, 5 weeks in terms of the draft and how the draft will affect our roster for next year. But we've got some really good pieces coming back. We've got a great freshman group. We've got a lot of returners that will be back that we feel very, very good about. And quite honestly, guys, we, even with our senior class, because of the COVID year, they have a year of eligibility left. So depending on what happens in the draft, some of these guys may come back and go to grad school for another year. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that some of the guys that have graduated could be back. We'll certainly look at it and see how the draft goes for them and those types of things. So I think we're very, very close. Look, we've got the number 10 recruiting class by some publications, the number 10 recruiting class coming in. And our 2022 class is going to be a top 10 class as well. So if there's one thing that I would tell, Tiger fans, we've got, back-to-back top 10 classes coming in. So we feel very good about the talent level that we have coming in next year and also returning. As far as my status and do I think that I will be back, I don't make those types of assumptions, David, and I think why. Because I'm super 100% accountable for this program and how we perform in this program. So, that's going to be determined by, Dan Radakovich and the administration. I'm accountable for what happened this season. So, I certainly hope to be back. If I am back, then, we're going to work really hard to turn it around and get these guys ready to have a nice run next year. So, we'll get a chance, I'm sure, to meet with the administration and Dan and I'll get a chance to talk about it.
Monty, this is Matt, just kind of piggybacking off of that. What's your message going to be to Dan and to the administration when you talk to them about your plans for the future and for the program?
Well, again, guys, I haven't had, a lot of time. I've been focusing on trying to, focusing on our team right now. But I think like anything, I think you have to look, I'm a believer in track record. I've got 13 years experience as a head coach. And I've put together a lot of successful teams. So I believe in myself. I believe that I can lead this team. I can get this team going in the right direction again. I believe in my toughness. I'm confident that I can coach this team at a high level and can coach baseball at a high level. So I certainly believe in myself and will certainly express that to Dan. But I've also got to look at all the things that we've got to get better at and what are the areas that we need to improve upon. And I'm sure that I will, when I get that opportunity, whenever that may be, we'll discuss those things and I'll certainly get Dan's input as well. He's one of the best athletic directors in the country. And I'm sure that, there's some things that he would, want to share with me as well. So, that's kind of where I am.
Hey, Coach, with the draft being in July, which is later than usual, it's a lot more rounds than last year, but still I think half as many rounds as normal. And you have just about everybody with eligibility coming back. How many guys do you think you'll have more guys that are kind of borderline in terms of their decision to come back, or how much different does that look for you this summer than a typical summer?
Well, I think the thing that you have to understand about the draft and how it's going to be different is 20 rounds. There are no more, rookie ball short season A teams out there. There's only a team at each complex, and those rosters are already there. And then you have low A, high A, double A, triple A. So for some of the college kids that are going to get drafted this year, that means somebody's going to get released out of those clubs that are already playing to make roster room for them. So I do think that there's going to be limited opportunities for some of the older guys in professional baseball. That being said, I don't know how that affects us right now. I'm hoping, like I hope for all the guys who are draft eligible that get scouted, I hope that our guys get an opportunity to play professional baseball and chase the dream of playing in the major leagues, just like I got that opportunity at one time. And that's a lifelong dream for a baseball player, and they have aspirations of playing pro ball. So I hope that they get the opportunity. And if they don't, then I'm certainly going to do everything I can to encourage them to come back to Clemson and play for us here. But they'll have a decision to make at that point. And you guys know all how hard it is. I mean, with 11.7 scholarships and roster limitations and all of those things, trying to project it and plan for it, could be fairly tough, but we will get there. So we'll just have to wait and see just kind of what happens, as we get, 4 to 5 weeks from now.
All right, guys, we have time for one more question. All right, with that, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Monty.
We'll have Bryce Teodosio momentarily. All right, we now have Bryce Teodosio. Go ahead with questions.
Hey, Bryce, Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. I know that you're not going out the way that you wanted to this season, but you are going out on a positive note with a win, and not a lot of teams get to win their final game of the season. I guess how good does it feel, at least at the very least, to play the way you did in this ACC tournament with 2 home runs, and I think you were 5 for 8 with 7 RBIs.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously felt amazing to go out that way. Like you just said, that we didn't finish the season how we wanted to, but you know what? I mean, we worked our butts off the whole year, and it just didn't work out. But I'm extremely proud of the guys and what they did tonight, and it was just awesome to get that win tonight.
Bryce, you graduated a couple of weeks ago. Have you already made a decision about your future, or is that something that you'll continue to deliberate this summer?
Yeah, I'm really just gonna look over things with my parents and then make that decision here once July comes. So we'll see, but not totally sure yet.
Hey, Bryce, Alex Dodd from the Clemson Insider. What did it mean for you guys to have the fan support that you did tonight here in Charlotte, to have a pretty much a packed house of Clemson fans?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, obviously with COVID, we haven't had, that fan atmosphere that we usually do at Doug Kingsmore. And, it was awesome just having the crowd behind us and being able to get a win with that kind of energy. It was a great environment here in Charlotte.
Bryce, Trevor again. I think a lot of teams down 3-0 early in this game. You know that you're already eliminated from the tournament. A lot of teams would have just kind of packed it in and called it a season. What was the mentality like in the clubhouse for y'all to respond the way you did with 11 unanswered runs?
Yeah, I mean, that's just not who we are. We don't like to scoreboard watch a whole lot. We just continued to, see take it one pitch at a time, and obviously it worked out for us. It was just, all the guys coming together there and just realizing that, this is our last game of the season, and just fighting. I mean, that was the biggest thing.
Anything else for Bryce? All right. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Bryce.